Hi. Today is my reminiscent story of the ferry of Bernam River. All right, from Kuala Selangor to South Bernam. I'm from Teluk Intan. My wife is from suburb Bernam. So after marriage, we had kids. We traveled to along this coastal road at least twice in a year. All right. So it was always a very anxious and scary experience for me crossing the river, although it was not very far away, so about 15-minute ride across. All right. So okay, each time we went home, we have to start very early, from KL, although it took us only 1 hour to reach. By the time we reach the queue, to go up the ramp to the ferry, there will be at least 50 odd cars. And by the time I get up to the ramp, the ferry, it will have taken at least 1.5 hours. So you see, by the time we reach suburb Bernam, it would have been almost 9:30 to 10 o'clock. All right. So the crossing, like I say, was very fast, but it's a waiting game, it's a waiting game. So, but on both sides of the road, leading to the ferry, there were a lot of stalls from put up by these kampung folks, who were selling tidbits, toys, fruits, and all things you can imagine, can think of. This was like a small bazaar, a small market. Small market. They were doing a roaring business. People were waiting around, even cars and lorries, especially drivers, they would come down and smoke, have a smoke. But everybody was patient. Probably they were all used to it. No one had any harsh word, except you will notice one or two, strangers. There would be outstation people who have not traveled this, yeah, before, and they would be, showing tantrums and those things. But by and large, mostly were people who have been going up and down, sending goods and services, buses, lorries. They've been traveling so many times. So they would just come down, walk around and chit chat. They take their time, although they knew by the time, they got to go, they would have spent more than a couple of hours waiting. But that was the thing, you see, everybody was patient except for a few. So anyway, the crossing was only, yeah, it was very risky to me, like, especially when it rained, very slippery, and the ferry could take only 4 heavy vehicles and many bicycles, of course, and a number of people, pedestrians. And of course, the passengers in buses and cars were advised to get out of the car because it is very dangerous, anything could happen if there were only a few of these uh, life boys, a few around only. So each time I stood there, I would, I know, no, hold the children close to me, never know, because I could only swim. What could I do, All right. So people were advised to come out, but there are some who refused, who just want to stay inside, especially when it was drizzling. You see, there were some cases, accident cases, tragedy did happen. There was a case, when a car was probably parked in front, on the ferry, facing the water, and a van, just came from behind, and I don't know whether we missed the brakes or something. It just hit the car in front, and the car in front rolled into the water. You know what happened? There were passengers. Two persons were drowned. The driver escaped, but there was a tragedy. So this kind of thing, you travel by in a ferry. this thing would happen. So it's better to be safe than to be sorry later. But it is one of those things. Tragedy did happen. So anyway, I have traveled along this ferry many times already. Many times, I think 70. It was discontinued. It was yeah, in 1979 when the bridge was built across the Bernam River. They call it the Sultan Salahuddin Abdul Aziz Shah Bridge in honor of the Sultan. Sultan. Yeah. All right. In 1979. So it was a good thing because the economic life of these people have changed dramatically. You know, goods, services, and people could travel very fast along the coastal area without having to wait for the ferry. Well, the service was discontinued, and probably the ferry they could have used it for to send it to a village further downstream. It could still be used. Probably I don't know. Probably still used because the motor can still tuck and pull it along. All right. So the small shops, of course, the warung and the small stores had to close because no more business. So yeah, so they just disappeared. But then again, the economic life because things will go very fast. People can travel very fast, and so development have come to the area, especially to Tele also people, and the towns, the towns, after the the bridge, like Sikinchan, Kuala Selangor have boom. There was a boom, in the economic life of the people. Buildings came up, schools, business, So so until now, you see, things have changed. Life has really changed for the people, along the route up to Tele. Okay, that's the story of the ferry, and I remember it as a gentle giant. It has really served us, but I don't know where it is now. Okay, thank you for watching.